hi there. So I'm with my sister who's kindly offered up her face because we've been in lockdown together. So I'm not wearing all my PPE gear, which is fantastic. So Imogen doesn't normally wear makeup at all. And I'm going to ask her why in a minute. But anyway, so I'm going to do the quickest makeover possible, hopefully to suit what she would like. So why don't you like wearing makeup?
Because I can't be bothered putting it on. I'm too lazy. Can't be bothered putting it on or taking it off.
Yes, but also you're really busy all the time,
Yeah.
and you don't particularly wear very much, do you?
No,
I mean,
I
you don't like that look.
I don't want to wear loads of makeup. I want to look natural.
Okay, that's fine. So, what would your problem areas be?
Big red nose.
What we're going to do, she's already cleansed her face and put loads of moisturiser on with a bit of sunblock. So what I'm going to use first is MAC Face and Body. It's just a very small little bottle of it, just handy for your makeup bag. I'm using a yellowy tone because I just want to take down her her high colour on her nose at the moment. Now you can do this with your fingertip, really speedy, see? Like this. And just go straight onto the area. And I don't want to plaster with too much makeup, otherwise
I won't do it.
she won't do it. So I'm just going to put it literally over where she is already a little bit red.
So I don't have to put it everywhere?
No.
Good.
Because if you do, I think you just go, no, that's too much.
Yeah.
And because today is, even though it's not sunny, it's still bright, and during the day, you don't want to look heavily made up. And also, too much foundation, contrary to what people might imagine, is really aging. It shows up everything. See what I'm doing? It's so minimal. Okay, so I'm quickly going to use a sponge underneath just to fill in underneath where you don't get the sun, because you're forever reading or looking at your phone outside, aren't you? Right, okay, so just at the end of your nose there, I'm actually going to pick up a concealer, just something a little bit heavier, and I'm going to use a MAC Studio Finish concealer. And again, because you've got a bit of a colour, I'm going to go for something yellowy toned. Yellows tend to knock down redness. So I'm just going to quickly use a little brush. And this is actually a paintbrush. I'm literally just covering up with something a little bit heavier, concealer-wise, where you need a little bit more coverage. But I'm being really careful not to go too much because, in my opinion, your skin, it's natural to have a little bit of freckles or a little bit of redness coming through. I think if you overcover.
I know, you see all these girls and it's just like...
Exactly, it just doesn't look right.
It looks weird.
And I think everybody's used to seeing you with very little on or nothing.
Yeah.
So why cover it? Why go too hell for leather? Won't look right. Do you know? Alright, so we've done that. Next thing is we're going to add the same bit of concealer, or actually a little bit of a lighter textured concealer underneath your eyes. Not going too bright underneath your eyes, Emmy, because your eyes are paler underneath there than the rest of your face anyway. The one place, if you just open over there and look down, is just in there. A lot of people will be darkest. So this is one of my favourite products, the YSL Tissue Cloth Pen. It's been around forever, but I think it's one of the best. And this is a 2.5 because you have got a bit of colour and I don't want to go too pale. Look up a second, I'm literally putting it on exactly where you're darkest, which tends to be just there at the bottom. You know, and just, it's not a concealer. This is just used to brighten there, for example. Tiniest little bit of powder now, because you need to set it. If you were flushing and getting hot, as it were, the less you put on as well, the better. I'm literally just putting the tiniest.
Why is that? Because it'll all start sliding off?
It'll all start to slide off, yeah. And when you get hot, it's a bit like putting oil into a frying pan and you add heat. What happens? It starts to go runny, doesn't it? And then around your eye area, look up a second. Tiny little bit here, tiny little bit here. Close down a second, and a little bit on your lid. If you think, oh, that's starting to look a wee bit powdery looking, because sometimes that can happen, just take a water spray and spray your face with a bit of water. And you can get like little spray fixers and all that. If you're using a bronzer or something like that, don't go too dark because you'll end up looking artificial. So what we're going to do is we're going to whiz a little bit where you'd naturally get a bit of colour up around your hairline like that. Fill in the gaps, do you get me? So here and here. And then I'm going to do a tiny bit of what they call contouring. No, it's going to look natural, don't worry. And then definitely a bit underneath here where you tend to be a bit pale, because light colours bring things forward. So if that was too light, it would make you look like you've got a heavy jaw. Kept that little bit of a pink flush here and here, but I'm just going to just add a little bit more to it to bring it out a little bit, because again, pink colours bring things forward. Now actually, I might use a cream, and I'm going quite high on your cheekbone just here. So if you want to look nice and rosy cheeked in the right place, bring it up sort of quite high there. So I'm just going to use a slightly bigger brush, and I'm applying a bit of a base eyeshadow all over to get it all to stay in place. Take the last bit of colour out of your eyelid, and your eyeshadows are going to blend a lot better once you use a base eyeshadow. So something ivory, cream coloured, and not too light, because it'll look a bit greyish otherwise. Okay, look up a sec. There's a wee bit underneath here, and I'm going to be clear. Before we go any further, I might just fill in your eyebrows a bit, because even if we don't have much time, eyebrows are key. And you've got lovely shaped eyebrows. Just where there's gaps, because most people have a little bit of a gap just at the top bit here. That's it. Nothing really natural. And again, just here at the end, if you want to fill it in a wee bit, just brush it upwards. Brush like this. Fantastic. It's a 224 brush. Again, guess where from? MAC. But you can get lots and lots of similar brushes on the market. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this into your socket, and we're using an orangey brownie sort of colour. I'm actually going to use a colour not dissimilar to the colour that's on your cheek. Right. They call it a tonal makeup. So basically that is going to match that, which is going to match your lip, which will look very fresh and natural, but kind of polished. And see the way I started, yeah, or you can feel it. See the way I'm just there, I started, and then I just went round. And then we're going to take a slightly smaller brush, something like this, just like a, you know, smaller flat brush. People are really nervous about using orangey colours or things that are quite warm. I'd say don't be nervous. And also because you've got blue eyes, orangey browns work so well on blue eyes. See the way I'm working from the outside in? Mm-hmm. And keeping the eyelid relatively clear of colour. I'm going to take the slanted brush, tiny bit of a dark, see this brush here, it's got a bit of a slant on it. My favourite brush. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to tap it on the back of my hand, squeeze out, like so, and I'm going to just very gently just tap a dark colour, like a dark brown or a black, right on your lash edge, like so, and then just give it a wee smudge at the outer corner so it doesn't look hard. What this does, it gives the illusion of thicker eyelashes. Okay, so I'm just going to elongate those just a tiny little bit more on the outside, like that and that, just that little smudge, just to give a little bit of, just to pull your eyes out like that, you know? And with this look, because we want to keep it quite natural for daytime, I'm not going to really bother with putting anything underneath. Yeah. Maybe just a tiny bit of eyeshadow on the end of this sort of straight brush that just sits on the very end of it like that. Next thing is mascara, so we're just going to use your mascara. So when you're putting on mascara, we're going to go from the top down first, and this is because I can do this, but if you can do it on yourself, that's fantastic. A little bit anyway, so that you're coating it, not just coating it all the time from underneath. So you're coating it both sides. Look down at the ground. That's it. Again, this is a handy wee tip if you have a tendency of watering. Your eyes water a wee bit, so it's not going on the bottom of your top. And then we're going to do this. Now, if you're going to curl your eyelashes, which actually I normally would do, you do a wee bit from the top down first, let it dry, and then curl them, and then use the mascara to push the eyelash up to keep it in place. Look up a second, and I'm going to whiz a little bit now, a little bit underneath your lower lashes. I normally would use a lip pencil first, just to give the outline of the lips, but we don't have any here today, so I'm just going to whiz on a very natural lipstick. It's called Brave from MAC. There you go. And this is your, I've just fallen out of bed looking like this. Look. And what you could do as well at the very end, if you wanted to, you could put a little bit more of the lipstick just here. Okay. Do you know, if you if you didn't have access to a blusher, or if you're out and you think, oh, I look a bit peely-wally, you can just add a little bit more to it if you want to. You know, and you can put a little bit here as well, and a little bit there at the end. So, cool. This would be your night out look, wouldn't it? Completely. How
How does it look?
That's it. What do you think?